Everybody, Madison here with Health by Ratio. My team and I of licensed physical therapists, corrective exercise specialists, and functional health coaches work holistically online to help support our clients to move out of recurring pain and chronic injuries and to move toward true functional health as well as even athletic and or fitness health depending on whatever their goals are, whether they're avid hikers, runners, athletes, anywhere in between. We are passionate about bridging the gap between standard therapy practices that maybe are causing us to kind of treat and or chase symptoms and not necessarily be able to progress toward our health and fitness goals. So we want to bridge that gap and make sure that people are truly able to gain control over their own health and be able to maintain that for life with the activities that they love. So today we are going to be talking about one of our favorite stretches that most of our clients love and hate. It's one of those love-hate stretches. It's called the couch stretch. Sounds easy. Don't let the name fool you. It is very intense. And we're going to show a number of different variations of this because of how intense this stretch is. There's some really great progressions that can be very, very challenging for those that have some great quad and hip flexor flexibility and range of motion as is, so you can progress it even further. And there's some ways to regress it and make it easier for those of us that haven't been doing this. And this is a really important area to mobilize the body because the hip flexors and the quads, these guys are very tight on us often because of what I'm doing right now. When we sit throughout our day, whether that's due to our jobs or whether we're driving, or maybe it's just taking an hour or two at the end of our day to hang out with the family and watch some TV on our couch. These hours over the decades, we tighten up our hip flexors. And then a lot of our activities like bike riding, where we're sitting and pumping those knees, or doing things like sprinting, playing a sport, or hiking, driving the knees up a hill, or something along those lines. A lot of the activities we do involve driving the knees or getting into athletic positions where our hip flexors are chronically short and tight and over-dominate and get strong and over-dominant. So what happens when that gets out of whack is it basically prevents our glute complexes from being able to fire or being able to fire very well, which the glutes are the biggest, most important muscle in the body. They're our main drivers in power. They help us become better athletes. They help us become more efficient in the activities that we love so we can last a lot longer. But almost more importantly than that is it's integral in our health. It helps us keep everything stable because the glutes connect to the core. And the glute and core complexes, when they work together, everything from the feet and the ankles can maintain their stability. The knees stay happy. The hips are obviously neutral and in a good position. The lower back, thoracic spine, the shoulder girdle, the neck, everything's foundation comes from this core. Hence why we call this section the core. And that includes the glutes. So when the hip flexors are over dominant, they turn off the glutes in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it's one side or the other more so if we're asymmetrical, but we stop getting the most important muscle in the body to fire. So we become less efficient and we have to start compensating elsewhere. And the big muscle that starts compensating with the hip flexors is our quads. So these quads get really tight. And if you guys have ever ran, hiked, had a really intense workout, whatever, and you're doing exercises like squats, lunges, or you're going for a long run or whatever, and the thing that is finishing sorest on your body is your quads instead of your butt, there's a good chance that your positioning of your hips isn't allowing your glutes to fire. They're not getting some good recruitment in, and instead it's your quads that are overtaking. So how we fix this is first we got to mobilize this area. We got to stretch out these hip flexors. We got to stretch out this quad. We probably need to do some good self-massage work into it, maybe our foam rollers and trigger point work to aid in this stuff. But we got to mobilize these guys so the hips can go back to neutral and the glutes can turn on. And then we're going to be in a much healthier place. And we're going to be able to be a more efficient athlete or just be more efficient at the activities that we love. So I'm about to go through a number of different progressions and regressions of this stretch. And if you guys are interested in getting some free instruction, free coaching, and understanding on how your whole body moves and operates, we have a link to our calendar below where you can schedule up your first of 2 free calls with us, where we're going to connect with you on the second call over video, analyze how your body is moving, test its ranges of motions, and we give you a full protocol for free on what you need to do on the stretch side, but and mobility side, as well as corrective exercises and performance-based exercises applicable to whatever you enjoy doing, so that you can get this thing moving back to full range of stable motion and stay in control over your own health. So if you're interested in that, click on the link. But without further ado, let's get rolling into the couch stretch. The first version of this is a version where we're literally using our couch or something similar to this. And we're essentially going to place our knee as close to the corner of the couch as we can. So we want to get the knee so that it's as much wedged into the corner of it and that my shin is vertical along my chair here or my couch. Now, this in and of itself is going to be pretty intense for most of us. Now, what the real big important factor with this stretch is can I turn on my butt? Right now, my butt's totally slack, which means that my hips can be rolling forward right now, and the hip flexors aren't really going to be getting much of a stretch. I might feel a little bit of a quad stretch, but it's a cheat. What I need to do is turn on the butt, which is going to pull my hips into neutral. So by me being able to squeeze this butt and then coming up right now, this is going to be a really effective stretch for me. So how we got to start off with this is we're going to get into this forward angle position, and I can position myself so that I'm next to the side of my couch to give me some stability, or I could get like a foam roll or something like that and kind of brace myself here, or just use the front of my leg. And first and foremost, with that leg as vertical as I can, I'm going to squeeze my butt. If I can't do it that already, then I'm going to inch my knee forward and I'm going to reduce the angle of this shin right now. So now it's more angled backwards as opposed to angled upright. And now I'm going to repeat the same thing and see if I can actually get some glute activation there. But assuming I can do that with the leg vertical, I'm going to squeeze my butt right now. Okay, I got that thing turned on. And now I'm going to start inching my way back. And the big key is I want to keep my torso in the same position. I'm trying to move this whole leg and torso at the same time. I don't want to just be arching my lower back and flaring my ribs up. That's kind of keeping my hips in the same position, and I lose some of my glute activation there. So I want to be glute tight. I want to have my body torso in position, and I'm coming up to whatever my level of tolerance is. So we're trying to get the butt as close to the heel as possible while still being able to squeeze that glute. And you can test it by trying to relax the butt and then tighten it. Okay, do I have that active? Yep. Okay, good. Now let's try inching back a little bit further. Get a little bit more upright with this guy. All right, so now my heel is right next to my butt right there. All right, can I still squeeze that glute? Yeah, all right, I can still do it. I feel a good deep stretch in this quad here and a bit into that hip flexor. Perfect. Then let's maybe go back a little bit further. See if I can get the heel more to the side of my glutes. All right, can I still squeeze that butt? All right, I got it. Now from here, if I want to make it just a little bit more intense, I can bring my arm vertical while still trying to keep relatively flush. I can also lean a little bit to the side. I can pivot a little bit to the side. I can explore different positions here and see what feels like it's giving me the best stretch. Because with the arm up, with a little bit of a side bend, with a little bit of a rotation, I'm going to feel different pulls in the hip flexor itself. And I'm going to feel this great stretch in the front of my quad the whole time. Okay, so these are a number of different variations we can do with our body up on a chair like that. Now, the next level, if you can do all that and it feels pretty good, then the next level is we do this on the ground. And so we want something cushioned that can go underneath our knee because we're going to be putting a lot of weight on that back knee. And we're going to, again, try to get the knee and shin vertical to whatever our surface is going to be. Then we're going to start with just the foot flat on the ground. And from here, I'm going to do the same thing. This back glute, can I turn it on? Yep, okay. I can turn that thing on. It's allowing me to engage the glute. So now I'm going to start inching my way up. Same rule applies where I'm trying to keep this whole body in alignment. I'm not flaring the ribs and chest up here. So engaging that glute. All right, I can turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, good. So I got a really nice deep stretch, and I basically have got my butt just past my heel. Okay, so I cleared this again. I can do the same thing, raise the arm up. I can pivot and rotate and explore different angles to get a different stretch on that hip flexor. Now, the last kind of progression to this, which is much gnarlier, is trying to get the front foot elevated, which is going to make this even more applicable, especially for those of us that sprint in our activities, where we're getting like a really extreme position where the front leg is driving into flexion while the back leg is driving into extension in terms of the hips. We're getting like an all out stride. So we want to have as good of range of motion in flexion and extension as possible. So for getting this range of motion, we can elevate the front leg, and I'm going to use my little meditation cushion here, which is about 6 inches tall. You could get this upwards of like 12 inches up here. I'm 6 inches is plenty for me. So I'm going to get into position where I have my knee up against this could be a wall. Like, obviously, I'm just using the edge of my couch here. Then, before I move up, I'm going to get my cushion in place of where I want to put my front foot there. It's a little awkward to do it, but once I got it, okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. Squeeze the glute. Okay, got it. Squeeze the glute. All right, I got a good position there. I'm going to try to inch my way up a little bit. All right, still able to get that good turn on of my butt there. Perfect. Inch my way up a little bit higher. All right, I got a nice deep stretch. This is really intense on the front of the quads. I can bring the arm up. I can pivot a little bit and lean, and I can get a deeper stretch into that psoas hip flexor and get a nice hurt so good range of motion work on that anterior chain of the hip, which gets so tight on us from, like I said, the time we spend sitting, as well as then the activities that we do that tend to go more toward quad dominant when the glutes can't fire. So by us opening this guy up, and if we compare this up with some really good deep tissue release work where we're trigger pointing or foam rolling into these quads and hip flexors and getting the psoas opened up, the adductors, which we have in a number of other videos that you can check out on our YouTube channel or Facebook page. But you can check these guys out where if you can pair this up with some good, basically self-massage and release this gunk out of the body, then it frees up our hips in the front to allow them to get back to neutral and for our glutes to actually activate when we are doing our favorite activities. And like we said earlier, that's massively important when it comes to the health of our ankles, knees, hips, back, mid-back, shoulder girdle, neck, all the above. It's hugely important in that, but it also makes us a better athlete. Or even if we're not trying to be an athlete, if we just want to be able to enjoy a long hike and not feel like we're sucking wind the whole time, well, we probably should be getting our biggest, most important muscle turning on to help drive us into that activity. So these mobilizations are key to allow us to perform better and for us to enjoy some good butt soreness instead of quad soreness after we're done. Now, guys, if you want any free coaching on how to correct the imbalances that are going in your body, you want to understand full body from head to toe. Why aren't my glutes firing very well? Why isn't my core engaging that well? Whatever it may be. That's why we offer 2 free coaching calls with myself and the team, where you get a chance to chat with us and fill us in on what your body has been through and what your goals are to be able to perform, and your health goals, whether it's fitness or just pure health or athletics, whatever. You get to fill us in, and then from there, we connect with you over video and go through full body analysis, range of motion tests, gait analysis, all that kind of stuff to see how and why your body is doing what it's doing, and most importantly, what mobilizations, maybe it's the couch stretch, maybe it's some other stuff, and what exercises you need to do to get this thing moving into full range of stable motion, to use those glutes, to have that core stabilize you, and have the rest of your body in alignment the way that you want. So we're going to have our link below this video. Feel free to check it out. If you'd like to schedule up a call that works best for you, we'll pick whatever day and time and that matches your schedule. Or if you have any suggestions, any questions on other topics you want us to cover for future videos, feel free to write in the comments. We're always looking for other ideas on what you guys want to hear more or less of. We'll talk to you soon.